What do you imagine when you hear the words inner strength? Perhaps a stoic face, unyielding in the face of adversity, maybe a relentless positivity, a refusal to acknowledge the shadows that stretch across our lives. We are often told that inner strength is about suppressing emotions, about projecting an image of unwavering confidence. But what if I told you that this very idea of inner strength is a carefully constructed illusion? Friedrich Nietzsche, a philosopher who dared to challenge the foundations of Western thought, offers a radically different perspective. He invites us to see inner strength not as a destination, a fixed point of unwavering resolve, but as a dynamic process, a constant striving. It is not about eliminating our vulnerabilities, but about embracing the totality of our being, the light and the darkness, the joy and the sorrow. Nietzsche understood that true strength lies not in resisting life's complexities, but in confronting them head-on. He saw the human spirit as a force constantly seeking to overcome itself, to surpass its limitations. This is the essence of his concept of the will to power, often misunderstood as a drive for domination. In truth, it is the engine of self-mastery, the relentless pursuit of our own potential. Imagine a fortress. Most believe inner strength is about building thicker walls, higher towers, to keep the world at bay. Nietzsche suggests something far more profound. He urges us to explore the hidden passages within, to understand the architecture of our own souls, to know our weaknesses, our fears, our desires, and to harness them, transform them into sources of power. Over the next few minutes, we will embark on a journey to uncover 7 unvarnished truths from Nietzsche's philosophy, truths that will challenge your preconceived notions about inner strength. This will not be a comfortable journey. It will require you to confront uncomfortable realities about yourself and the world around you. But it is a journey that promises a reward far greater than the fleeting illusion of invincibility, the enduring power of authentic self-mastery. Are you ready to dismantle the fortress of your illusions and build something truly unshakable from the ground up? Are you ready to embrace the uncomfortable truths that will set you free? We begin with the first unvarnished truth, Amor Fati, the love of fate. But let us not mistake this for simple resignation. It's not about passively accepting whatever life throws your way. It is about something far more radical, far more empowering. How often do we find ourselves silently battling reality, clinging to idealized versions of our lives that never quite materialize? We resist the present, yearning for a past that is gone or a future that may never arrive. This resistance, this constant friction against what is, becomes a silent wound, festering with chronic dissatisfaction and resentment. Many misunderstand Amor Fati as a kind of fatalistic acceptance, a shrug of the shoulders in the face of hardship. But Nietzsche wasn't advocating for apathy. He was calling for a profound shift in perspective. He was urging us to actively embrace everything that constitutes our existence, the good, the bad, and the undeniably ugly. Consider the famous Nietzschean phrase, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger." It is not merely a platitude. It is a testament to the transformative power of suffering. True inner strength arises not from avoiding hardship, but from facing it, from integrating it into the very fabric of our being. Can you see the difference? Think of a tightrope walker. Do they wish away the danger, the dizzying height, the ever-present possibility of a fall? No, they embrace it. The risk is not an obstacle to be overcome, but an essential component of the performance. It is the very thing that gives their movements grace, precision, and power. To begin cultivating Amor Fati in your own life, try this simple exercise. Identify one thing you currently resent, one aspect of your life that you wish were different. Now, reframe it. Ask yourself, what opportunity for growth does this present? What hidden strength can I develop by embracing this challenge? Perhaps this resentment is a necessary component of your unique fate, a crucible in which you are being forged into something stronger, something more resilient, something truly extraordinary. Can you find the love in your fate even in the midst of suffering? Our Our second unvarnished truth centers on the most misunderstood of Nietzsche's concepts, the will to power. The very phrase conjures images of ruthless ambition, of a relentless pursuit of dominance over others. This is a dangerous misinterpretation, one that has fueled countless acts of cruelty and oppression. But the true will to power, as Nietzsche envisioned it, is something far more profound, far more internal. How often do you feel powerless, controlled by forces beyond your influence? The demands of your job, the expectations of your family, the relentless pressures of society, they all conspire to diminish your sense of self-efficacy, leaving you feeling like a puppet dancing to someone else's tune. This feeling of powerlessness is a silent wound, eroding your inner strength and leaving you vulnerable to manipulation. The common distortion of the will to power sees it as a license for aggression, a justification for exploitation. But Nietzsche was not advocating for tyranny. He was advocating for self-mastery. He believed that true power lies not in controlling others, but in controlling oneself. The true will to power is the relentless drive for self-overcoming, the constant striving to surpass your limitations, to become who you are truly meant to be. It is the force that compels you to learn, to grow, to evolve, to push beyond your comfort zone and embrace the challenges that life throws you away. Consider this: he who cannot obey himself will be commanded. This is not a threat, but a profound observation. If you lack the self-discipline to govern your own thoughts, emotions, and actions, you will inevitably be governed by external forces. True power begins with self-governance. Here's a technique to cultivate your own will to power. Identify one area of your life where you feel powerless. Perhaps it's your finances, your health, or your relationships. Instead of focusing on controlling others or lamenting your circumstances, identify one small action you can take to assert your agency. Can you learn a new skill, set a boundary, or simply commit to a daily practice that improves your well-being? Remember, the journey to self-mastery begins with a single step. Our third unvarnished truth delves into the unsettling realm of perspectivism. We cling to our beliefs, our convictions, as if they were unshakable pillars of reality. We build our lives upon them, define ourselves by them. But what if your truth is, in fact, your biggest weakness? The silent wound of dogmatic adherence festers when we refuse to question our own assumptions. We become intellectually stagnant, unable to adapt to new information, trapped within the confines of our own limited perspective. We see the world through a narrow keyhole, mistaking our partial view for the whole truth. Perspectivism is often distorted into moral relativism, the idea that all opinions are equally valid, that there is no objective truth. This is a dangerous oversimplification. Nietzsche wasn't suggesting that we abandon all standards of judgment. He was urging us to recognize the inherent limitations of our own perspective. True inner strength comes from acknowledging that your truth is just one perspective among many. It comes from actively seeking out alternative viewpoints, from challenging your own assumptions, from embracing the discomfort of intellectual uncertainty. Imagine truth not as a mirror reflecting reality, but as a lens that filters it. Different lenses reveal different aspects of the same object. A magnifying glass reveals intricate details, while a telescope allows us to see distant galaxies. Each lens offers a unique perspective, a unique insight. Engage in a devil's advocate exercise. Take one of your deeply held beliefs, a political conviction, a moral principle, a personal philosophy, and argue against it. Force yourself to see the issue from the opposite side. What are the potential weaknesses in your own argument? What valid points can be made from the opposing viewpoint? This exercise will not necessarily change your beliefs, but it will expand your understanding, strengthen your intellectual agility, and cultivate a deeper sense of humility. Are you willing to question your own truth? Our fourth unvarnished truth confronts the uncomfortable reality of master-slave morality. Are you living your own values, or are you unconsciously adhering to a moral code that undermines your authentic self? This is a question that demands ruthless self-examination. The silent wound of internalized societal values festers when we blindly accept the norms and expectations imposed upon us. We unconsciously adopt beliefs that perpetuate feelings of resentment, inferiority, and a deep sense of disconnect from our true selves. We become actors in a play we didn't write, reciting lines that don't resonate with our soul. Master-slave morality is often distorted into a literal endorsement of social hierarchy and oppression. This is a gross misrepresentation of Nietzsche's intent. He wasn't advocating for domination. He was analyzing the psychological forces that shape our values. Inner strength requires critically examining the values you have inherited, questioning their origins, and consciously choosing those that align with your own flourishing. It demands that you break free from the shackles of resentment and forge your own path, guided by your own inner compass. The slave, in Nietzsche's framework, is not necessarily someone who is literally enslaved. It is a state of mind, a way of being. It is the person who resents the master, who envies his power and seeks to undermine him through guilt, moral judgment, and the insidious manipulation of values. Identify one value you hold dear: honesty, compassion, success, security. Trace its origins. Where did you learn this value? From your parents, your teachers, your religious leaders, or the pervasive influence of social media? Question whether it truly serves your well-being or if it is a product of external influence. Does it empower you, or does it leave you feeling depleted and resentful? Don't let resentment define your values. Choose them consciously, deliberately, and authentically. Our fifth and final unvarnished truth presents the most challenging of Nietzsche's thought: experiments, the eternal recurrence. Imagine for a moment that you were condemned to relive your life exactly as it is for all eternity. Every joy, every sorrow, every triumph, every failure, repeated endlessly without alteration. Would you curse your fate, or would you embrace it with open arms? The silent wound of regret festers when we live a life of unfulfilled potential, haunted by the consequences of our choices. We fear the future, knowing that it will be shaped by the actions of our past. We long for a second chance, a chance to rewrite our story, to make amends for our mistakes. The eternal recurrence is often distorted into a literal, cyclical repetition of every moment in your life, leading to despair or nihilism. This is a profound misunderstanding. Nietzsche wasn't suggesting that this is a metaphysical reality. He was using it as a tool, a test of your will, a call to live with intention and integrity. The eternal recurrence is a thought experiment designed to force you to confront the consequences of your choices and live a life you would be willing to repeat endlessly. It is a radical call to self-responsibility, a challenge to embrace your fate and to transform your existence into a work of art. Imagine you were forced to relive your life exactly as it is for eternity. What changes would you make to make it a life worth repeating? Would you be kinder, more courageous, more authentic? Would you pursue your passions with greater zeal, or would you settle for a life of quiet desperation? Consider Nietzsche's provocation: this life as thou livest it now and hast lived it, thou wilt have to live once more and innumerable times more. This is not a threat, but an invitation. It is a call to live with intention, to embrace your fate, and to transform your existence into a masterpiece. Are you living a life you would be willing to repeat for eternity? We have journeyed through 5 unvarnished truths from Nietzsche's philosophy, truths that challenge the very foundations of our conventional understanding of inner strength. We've explored Amor Fati, the love of fate, not as passive resignation, but as active embrace. We've dissected the will to power, understanding it not as domination over others, but as mastery over ourselves. We've grappled with perspectivism, recognizing that our truth is but one lens through which to view the world. We've confronted master-slave morality, questioning the values we have inherited and striving to forge our own. And finally, finally, we face the eternal recurrence, the ultimate test of our will, a call to live a life worthy of endless repetition. These truths are not meant to be passively absorbed. Nietzsche's philosophy is not a comfortable doctrine, a set of easy answers. It is a call to action, a constant process of self-overcoming, a relentless pursuit of our own potential. It demands that we question everything, including ourselves. Carl Jung, another explorer of the human psyche, offered a complementary perspective. He understood that inner strength is not about eliminating the shadow, our dark side, our flaws, our vulnerabilities. It is about integrating it, accepting it as an integral part of our complete and balanced self. To deny our shadow is to deny a vital source of energy, creativity, and resilience. Think of a fortress again. We began by dismantling its illusionary walls. Now we must rebuild it, not as a prison, but as a sanctuary, a place where we can confront our demons, embrace our complexities, and cultivate the unshakable inner strength that comes from knowing ourselves truly and deeply. I encourage you to embrace the challenge of Nietzsche's philosophy. Embark on your own journey towards intellectual independence and authentic personal power. Question everything. Challenge your assumptions. Embrace the uncomfortable truths that set you free. The path will not be easy, but the reward, a life lived with intention, integrity, and unshakable inner strength, is worth more than any fleeting illusion of invincibility. Now I leave you with one final question. Are you ready to forge your own inner fortress, a sanctuary built upon the unvarnished truths of your own being?